Flag.
Oh, let's talk Vikings, you guys. Interesting stuff. Carson Wentz got the win for the Vikings on Sunday, has only been on the field for 46 offensive plays this season, half as many as J.J. McCarthy, but the Vikings offense has looked a lot better with Wentz under center. Not only are they averaging more yards per pass attempt, but 2 more yards per rush, and the Vikings have not turned it over with Wentz on the field this season. Now, Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell was asked if once J.J. McCarthy is healthy, he will immediately return to start, and here's what he said.
I think, the first and foremost, he's got to get healthy. And then throughout that process, it's not just, I don't think it's one of those things where it's, hey, the day he's healthy, and if he's healthy the night before a game, we're going to just throw him out there and say, hey, go figure it out type of thing.
Marcus's face.
Because I told y'all yesterday it was a quarterback controversy.
Dan.
I told y'all.
Uh-oh. What did you see from Wentz on Sunday?
Yeah, first of all, Christian Darrisaw matters a ton for the offense. A ton. Totally helped with the protection. I think the two things were he was really reactionary, which was a big deal. I think that sped up the style of their pass game. Like, he reacted to coverage a little bit faster than JJ has. I think the second thing was the timing of their pass game was really good. I was not expecting that he was going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hit his back foot, and the ball would come out to, a backside post or an outbreaker to the field. So that was something that, I think JJ sitting back and watching once again, going, all right, again, Darrisaw being a part of that matter. So the reaction and the timing were a big deal. 2 good, 1 bad. You still saw 3 or 4 sacks where you're like, don't do that, stop holding it, don't do that. And so if he can 1 or 2 a game, get rid of that, I do think that there's a lot of good to the style of play that he showed.
Yeah, I just don't think you can, before I get to the defense, you can't overlook what he did with Sam Darnold last year. It's a part of the equation. And this is about winning. I'm going to go to the defensive side because obviously there's a lot of onus put on that while you're figuring out this quarterback spot. But Brian Flores is back to his old habits, and it works. And none other than the perfect Cincinnati Bengals who are going to land up a shotgun 700 times a game and allow you to disguise. You look at around the line of scrimmage. This is how you're always fooled. And now you get out of this late. But now we have confusion on the offensive line. We're trying to figure it out. I love these condensed tackles as well to have a game situation. It looks like the whole team is going to rush. It's only 4 and they're running games. The offensive line is trying to figure out not only who's coming, but also how do we pass these games off. And the mind tricks that are happening with protection.
Bro, he just showed 3 coverages.
Oh, that was diabolical.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, for y'all look at that prism, and you and Mino are 2 of the best at it when you start talking about the back end and obviously RC. I look up front because my whole career was spent trying to confuse or dictate protection.
Right.
And he does a better job as anyone in the league. Now, you got to trust your guys.
Yeah.
You got to trust them to get their depth.
The timing
coverage.
of it.
You got to trust the timing. And that's why sometimes with Ben Johnson, when he has success, a lot of quick snaps to catch you.
Sure.
Yeah.
But they aren't going to do that in Cincinnati. We know it.
Yep.
Cincinnati knows it.
Yep.
The whole world knows it. And that was set up perfectly for Brian Flores to have a day like he had.
Mina, if they do go back to J.J. McCarthy when he's healthy, what does need to change?
He just got to play faster. I mean, it's as simple as that. You mentioned Carson Wentz did take a few sacks, but outside of those sacks, he was hitting his first read like bam. 2.44 time to throw. J.J. McCarthy this season is 3.15, which is, if not the longest, close to it in football. The first read is open in Kevin O'Connell's office. Yeah, this was like proof of concept for that. So many of the passing concepts I thought so well executed. The receivers getting open. Jordan Addison back is huge. But McCarthy's just got to pull the trigger faster. He has to trust the scheme and not more than his eyes. He has to trust what the offense is giving to him.
Dan, what do you do? What do you do with the situation with JJ and Carson? What do you do?
Yeah, I still think you're going, okay, you're taking it week by week. Like, if Carson Wentz comes in and continues to play well, there's a reality where if the defense and him are complementary, he's playing at a high level, you're not rushing him off the field. You want to get JJ healthy, and I agree, he's got to play faster. I just think it's a week-by-week thing. I honestly believe that. And you got to be honest with your quarterbacks and your football team. If Carson continues to play at a high level, you're not taking him off the field.
Yep.
Oof. Could be an interesting conundrum if that carries on. Right. Time for some top stories. Big questions in Washington, where wide receiver Terry McLaurin is uncertain to play Sunday versus Atlanta due to his
And we wondered how Sam Darnold would be, not with the Vikings anymore, Justin Jefferson and that crew, but so far career high 70% completion percentage and 9 yards an attempt this season. All right, that's the Thursday night game. We've got an early morning Sunday game, first game ever in Ireland, and it's the Vikings against the Steelers. Vikings slight favorites here, and it's weird, Pete. This is their first of 2 straight games in Europe.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenge for him. I mean, look, the Jaguars have played 2 in a row in London and England, and it's tough to do. You're there for an entire 11 days, and it's going to be a real challenge for the Vikings. This is the first one, though, and the first one's usually easier to navigate. The Vikings dominated the Bengals the other day. I mean, everything and anything that could have gone wrong for the Bengals did, and everything that could have gone right for the Vikings did. You got to throw that game out the window. This is going to be a much tougher game. I think what we saw from the Steelers last week, better defense. It wasn't great, but they turned the ball over. They had takeaways, and I think that matters. Rodgers can still throw the football. We saw him throw the game-winning touchdown pass. I'll take the Steelers here. And by the way, Dan Rooney always had strong ties to Ireland, so it'll be interesting how the crowd responds to it. I think there'll be a big Steelers crowd.
I love the Vikings in this spot. I just love what Brian Flores does pre-snap to frustrate quarterbacks, after the snap to frustrate quarterbacks. And this will be the real litmus test, because if there's anybody who's experienced enough to see what Brian Flores is doing and not be impacted by it, it's Aaron Rodgers. But it's that defense for the Steelers that might be a little bit over the hill, in my opinion. And while they are the most expensive defense in the National Football League, the dominant forces that we've seen in that defense, they haven't showed up in the big way that we've expected to see the entire defense show up and play like. That being said, I watched the Vikings dismantle the Cincinnati Bengals last week. I'm a firm believer in momentum, and defense travels.
So you got the Vikings.
I love the Vikings.
By the way, so we got our headline from the game. Kyle Long calls out T.J. Watt.
Well, he had his bounce-back game. He had 6 straight games without a sack, and had a couple last game.
Yeah.
You think this defense is fixed, Pete?
No, it's not fixed. There's other problems there. There's the run defense hasn't been great. The secondary has had busts in the secondary. They have injuries too. There've been some injuries on that side, but everybody has injuries. So he played better last week, and that's big. That's big for them. He has to play big in this game.
All right, you guys opposite sides on the first 2 games.
That's what we like that way.
And Pete bucking the trends to start too. You saw
these spreads; they lend them.
What's up, Vikings Nation? Victor here with Report Vikings, and today we need to talk about something that has every Vikings fan buzzing. The latest rumors about a possible Kirk Cousins trade. Yeah, you heard that right. According to multiple reports, the Atlanta Falcons are listening to offers for Kirk Cousins in 2025. But here's the catch. They want a premium draft pick and for the new team to take on most of his salary. And when I say salary, we're talking about $27.5 million guaranteed this season. That's a massive cap hit, and it's scaring a lot of teams away. On top of that, Cousins has a full no-trade clause. That means he has to sign off on any move. So it's not just about what Atlanta wants. Kirk himself gets the final say on where he'd go. Now let's bring this back to us, the Vikings. Reports keep linking us to Cousins if J.J. McCarthy keeps struggling. And listen, I get it. McCarthy has shown flashes, but he's also had rookie growing pains. If he continues to look shaky or, God forbid, gets hurt, the Vikings might be tempted to bring Cousins back as a short-term fix. But let's think this through. Atlanta is comfortable keeping Cousins if they don't get what they want. And honestly, why wouldn't they be? They eat the money, but they also keep a veteran quarterback who can stabilize things. For Minnesota, it comes down to this. Do you really want to spend a premium pick? Probably a second rounder or even a first, plus take on that contract just to bring Cousins back for what might only be a 1-year stopgap. Remember, Cousins gave us 4 solid years. He put up numbers, over 4,000 yards in 3 different seasons with us, multiple playoff appearances, and he played some of his best ball in purple. But at the same time, we moved on for a reason. We wanted to develop J.J. McCarthy and build toward the future. So here's where I stand. As much as I respect Kirk and everything he did for us, I don't want to see the Vikings panic and sacrifice the future for a quick fix. If McCarthy struggles, let him take his lumps. That's how rookies grow. If we really believe in him, we've got to ride it out. Trading for Kirk might feel safe, but it could set us back years in terms of development and draft capital. But hey, I want to know what you guys think. Would you want to see the Vikings bring Kirk Cousins back if J.J. McCarthy can't get it together? Or should we stay the course and trust the process with the rookie? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you're as fired up as I am about these rumors. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any updates. This is Victor with Report Vikings. And no matter what happens, one thing is certain. It's never boring being a Vikings fan. Skol!